and welcome back to another game review where I am on my own this time, after Amelia joined us last time. I'm your host, as ever, Purple Midnight 8, and today I will be covering Need for Speed Most Wanted for the PlayStation 2, not the incredibly reboot, remake, whatever it was that came out 2012, I think, possibly later. 2012, yep. That incredibly mediocre game that was just disappointing to play after this absolute classic. Anyway, I will do what I can. Apologies, there's no gameplay unless you want me to record my goddamn TV screen, which is just abysmal. This isn't like 2010 YouTube. So, as a racer, I put new racer before I even open the game. The player is tasked with racing. Very self-explanatory, you could have guessed that. And beating several other racers on something called a blacklist. Beating each of these racers will give the player more notoriety in the racing circuit. No joke intended. No pun intended. Being a Need for Speed game, the game is of course a racing game. Set in an open world city where you will select events to participate in. Completing these events will reward the player with something called a bounty, which is basically XP, which acts as a progress towards racing your next rival. Police pursuits are a heavy gameplay feature present in both the open world or the game's events. In order to escape the police, you must either hide or wreck the pursuers, as if caught, you will gain a strike, which if several are gained, you will lose a car and you will lose money if you are caught. Money gained from events is spent on buying new cars and modding them out with different upgrades. These of course allow for your chosen vehicle to perform better in the game's selection of events. Defeating a member of the blacklist will allow the player to win their car as well as cash rewards and unlocks upgrades. You basically start out with none, but the more of the blacklist racers you defeat, the more upgrades you'll get. Of course, beating these racers move you to a higher spot on the list as well as unlocking new events. Each of the blacklist members have their own selection of events, but they're basically the same. Side content is narrowed down to two separate modes from the career mode, Challenge Series and Quick Race. Challenge Series is a playlist of unlocked races where you must use a certain car to win, whereas Quick Race is simply a custom mode. While I'm not a massive fan of racing games, I used to play games like this and Burnout, absolute classic, Paradise and Takedown, with my dad a lot when I was a kid. I have many fond memories of spending hours just messing with the police, rather than racing, as because I was young it was much easier for me. It's just so much fun just to drive around and absolutely, like, knock down big water towers and, like, radio towers and stuff and just crush the fucking police underneath them. Oh, man, I'm so glad I got this back when I got a PS2 again, because I just had to, how could you not? Apologies, this one is very short. I didn't even mean to. I'm already at the end of my review. I don't really know what else I can add. Yeah, as mentioned, there is a reboot or whatever. I remember hearing somewhere that there was possibly going to be a remaster of this. Or remake or something like that. Either way, if that turns out to be true, I will be absolutely hyped. And I'm going to be losing my mind. Hopefully, anyway. But anyway, thank you so much for listening. Apologies, this one's a bit short. It's a PS2 game, it's a racing game. There's not a whole lot that you can really talk about. It's nothing too stand out, but just because of the police chases alone, it's worth just getting stuck into. But anyway, I'm your host as ever, Purple Midnight 8. Thank you ever so much for listening. And I will see you in the next one.